Ibrahim Demir was a man obsessed with the universe. At 40, the Turkish physicist saw the world through the lens of motion, space, and time. He was on his daily jog when the sky turned an unnatural, bruised color. Lightning, not like any he'd ever studied, arced across the clouds, blue and gold twisting as if with intelligence. As others ran for cover, Ibrahim stared, fascinated, whispering, "This isn't right." A moment later, a bolt of that impossible lightning struck him. The pavement cracked. He felt gravity itself bend around him. Time stretched thin, and then nothing. He woke up 5 months later in a hospital bed. His older brother, Abdullah, was by his side, looking through old photos from their childhood in Turkey. The two hadn't spoken in years, not since their father, their Baba, passed away. Grief and pride had built a wall between them. Abdullah, now 50 and worn by worry, whispered that he should have been there for him. Just then, Ibrahim's eyes fluttered open. "Abi," he croaked. The Turkish word for older brother was all it took. Abdullah rushed to him, years of silence and hurt melting away in a desperate hug. Ibrahim learned he'd been in a coma for 5 months, struck by lightning. But he knew, with a chilling certainty, it wasn't ordinary lightning. The reunion felt like coming home. Over coffee, they finally talked. They admitted how much they'd missed each other, how Baba's death had shattered them in different ways. During their conversation, a waitress stumbled, and a tray of cups began to fall. But for Ibrahim, they didn't fall. They froze. The world slowed to a crawl. He saw the coffee suspended in midair, the individual atoms vibrating. Then, just as suddenly, everything snapped back to normal. The cups crashed, and the moment was over. Abdullah dismissed it as a post-coma side effect, but Ibrahim wasn't so sure. Later that day, standing outside Abdullah's house, Ibrahim blinked and suddenly found himself at the front door. With no memory of walking there, a jolt of panic and adrenaline shot through him. He took off running, a blur of motion. Blue and yellow lightning trailed behind him, as he lapped the entire block in seconds before tripping and skidding to a halt at Abdullah's feet. It was real. The lightning had given him impossible speed. Abdullah, his face a mix of shock and fear, warned him not to do anything rash. But Ibrahim was a scientist. For months, he trained relentlessly in the dead of night, mapping his new abilities. He tested his reaction time, his friction resistance, his endurance. He pushed himself to the absolute limit, creating an aerodynamic suit, blue and gold, insulated against the heat his speed generated. Abdullah grew more worried with each passing day. One night, it came to a head. Ibrahim returned at 2 a.m., exhausted from a 3-hour training run. Abdullah was waiting. He accused Ibrahim of being reckless, of acting invincible. The argument unearthed old wounds. Ibrahim fired back, saying Abdullah had shut him out after their Baba died, acting like he had to carry the world's weight alone. Abdullah's anger faded into a deep, weary sigh. He confessed that after losing their father, he'd felt like he'd failed to hold the family together. The fear of losing Ibrahim during those 5 months in the coma had nearly broken him. It wasn't the power that scared him, it was the thought of losing his brother all over again. Ibrahim, seeing his brother's raw fear, promised to be careful, to not let his newfound power control him. Their fragile peace was shattered by a phone call. Abdullah had a tip about a warehouse linked to lightning manipulation experiments, a place filled with speed-enhancing serums. They had to investigate. Inside, they found exactly what they were looking for. Glowing vials of blue liquid, swirling with red, and files detailing the engineered storm. Before they could grab any evidence, a flash of red and black slammed them into a concrete wall. A figure, another speedster, vibrated before them. "You're in too deep," the figure hissed, revealing the storm was a test, and Ibrahim was the result. Then, in a horrifying instant, the red and black speedster grabbed Abdullah from behind and vibrated a hand straight through his chest. As the villain vanished, Ibrahim caught his brother. Abdullah, gasping, told him it was okay. He made Ibrahim promise not to do anything rash, to be better than his anger. With his last breaths, he apologized for not being there after Baba died, for not being stronger. Then, In Ibrahim's arms, his brother was gone. Blinding grief and rage consumed him. Ibrahim took off, a streak of vengeance tearing across the city. He chased the red and black blare, his lightning scarring rooftops. Their battle was a chaotic storm of color and sound. Ibrahim fought wildly, foiled by fury, but the villain just mocked him. Speed is about precision, not anger. Abdullah's final words echoed in his mind. Asterisk. Don't do anything rash. Ibrahim forced himself to calm down, to breathe, to think. He stopped being a grieving brother and became a physicist again. When the villain lunged for the final blow, Ibrahim didn't dodge. He moved a single inch. He calculated the trajectory, the vibration frequency. He grabbed the villain mid-phase, countered the vibration, and redirected all that kinetic energy back into a devastating slam. Motion is about control, Ibrahim declared, not just speed. The authorities took the villain away, who swore it wasn't over. Ibrahim stood alone, under the same sky that had changed his life forever. He looked at his hands, the lightning still crackling around them. He would not be ruled by anger. He would honor his brother. From that night on, the city whispered stories of a blue and yellow streak, a guardian angel moving faster than sight, who had lost everything but found a new purpose. Now the fastest man alive. Thanks for watching.